Hi, I'm Tim Scheib, husband of one, father of five, realtor, and this is Behind the Sign. Chaos. Our real estate market in 2021 has been absolute chaos. From buyers to sellers to realtors to new construction, all of it has just been absolutely bonkers. Buyers, trying to find a home, very difficult. Our inventory is so low, it's super hard. And when you do find a home, they're accepting all offers, looking, 3 days down the road, we're gonna look at all the offers and pick the best one. So buyers are just missing out on a lot of homes because it's very, very competitive. Sellers, they think their house is worth way more than it is. Sometimes they actually get it, which is, also bonkers, but then you have to deal with the appraisals and all those other issues. Sometimes you'll get a seller who will get a great price on their home and the buyer knows that, and the buyer comes back at an inspection and they come back and ask for 10 grand off the price, which takes away all that extra money they thought they were getting. So it is absolutely bonkers. Trying to manage that as a real estate agent, it'll drive you crazy. If you're on TikTok and you see real estate TikToks, you'll see half these agents are just going nuts. New construction, same thing. It's absolutely crazy. We represent a builder and they used to build a home in 120 days, and right now they're talking 7-8 months. It could be even longer. Another thing you're seeing a lot of in this market is escalation clauses. Lumber prices, material prices have just shot up, and so has the cost to get the subs out there to do the work. They're all super busy, so they can charge a little bit more because they know they can get the business. So the costs have just continued to creep up at a pretty rapid pace in new construction. So they've started to have to put escalation clauses into their new construction deals, which means, hey, we locked in this price, but if the price of materials go up between now and the time we get it ordered, it could be a little bit higher. So that is something that we've never seen in new construction, and it is absolutely crazy to think it's there, but it's there. And the prices have shot up. The one thing that I can tell you with inventory, new construction, all of new construction is basically sold. Anything that's 30 to 60 days out, it's pretty much gone. I would say that, we typically carry around 1,000 new construction homes, new construction listings, and I would probably venture to guess there's probably only about 100 of those that could be done in the next 30 to 45 days. And if you're a buyer looking at those spec homes, you are wanting to close in 30 to 45 days, maybe 60. So that eliminates a lot of those listings. Those really aren't even on the market for those buyers who need to move in 30 to 60 days. With that being said, it is just absolutely crazy out there. Buyers are having to rent to wait for a house to get finished. Now, that raises another bit of chaos for us. When we have a listing, we've sold a number of our homes in the framing stage and even foundation stage. We continually get asked for close dates. Most builders will not commit to a close date until they're about 45 days out. And the reason for that is they don't want to miss a deadline. Buyers will lock an interest rate, and I don't know why it happens, but they lock that interest rate for the day the builder says it's going to close. So if it doesn't close on that day, they have to do the rate lock extension. Who gets stuck paying that extension? It can be pretty costly. Builders don't want to commit to a date until they know for sure they're going to hit that date. We get asked weekly, multiple times a week from agents, hey, do you know a close date yet? Do you know a close date yet? Once we get to the trim stage and we get a trim carpenter on site, we can give you a close date. The drywall's done. When's the close date? Do you know a close date yet? Do you know a close date yet? We get asked all the time. And those close dates have been just pushed back and back and back and back. And it has nothing to do with the builder not wanting to finish the home. It has nothing to do with them doing another house before this house, because buyers, they'll see another house getting a trim carpenter in it, and they'll say, why isn't our house getting done? You're finishing this house before you're finishing our house. I can't answer that. I just know that it is very difficult to keep the process moving right now because of the lack of subcontractors, the lack of materials. Maybe, a cabinet was delayed, so therefore they put a trim carpenter on another house and they're waiting for that one piece, so when that trim carpenter gets there, they can do the whole project because they need to be efficient. With that being said, I've talked to a number of different builders. I've talked to one builder who it's a year now to build a home. I've talked to another builder who's saying the biggest builder in town, the fastest builder in town, normally does a 90-day build. They're at 7 months. I mean, you think about a typical build time of 90 days, and now it's 7 to 8 months. I mean, that is a drastic increase in the time frame. And it is very difficult for buyers out there to accept that. and to accept that, hey, you know what, we're not going to be able to lock a rate and for another 6 months, and who knows what the rate is going to be in 6 months from now. And if there's an escalation clause in there, who knows what the price is going to be? Who knows if we can even afford it in 6 months? It is a very difficult time with new construction. And I feel like it's not going to change for a while until we can catch up with our inventory, which clearly we're way behind on inventory. I think we're at about a week and a half, 2 weeks supply of homes, which is crazy. I remember when I got in the business in 2004, a balanced market was 6 months supply. And if we're at a 2 week supply of homes, it's going to take a long time to catch back up. Now we've heard people talk about different statistics saying that the buyers are starting to slow down. We've already hit our prime time. Listings will start to increase. How fast can they increase? Especially with it taking so long to build a home. If it takes that long to build a home, we can't get inventory for 7 months because that house isn't going to be ready to be sold for another 6 to 7 months. So the builders have to help us increase our inventory. They're selling everything they have in foundation and framing stage. Therefore, the specs are never getting out there long enough for us to actually get spec inventory. That affects resale because resale, they don't want to list their home until they have a home or until they have enough inventory to say, okay, I feel comfortable that I'm going to be able to find a home. They don't want to list their home because they don't want to end up homeless. They don't want to rent. I just had a conversation, had a client call me, and he was supposed to close in September. He's building with another builder, and he said that builder called and said it's going to be more like October or November. He has a subject to sale. He doesn't want to sell his house and rent somewhere for 2 to 3 months. The builder wants him to sell his house, or they're going to list that property, and we know if they list that property, it's probably going to sell. So that buyer's like, okay, now what do I do here? Do I list and rent? Absolutely, you list and rent if you want that home. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get it. That's how competitive this market is and how crazy things are. We have a lot of real estate agents right now that they are fighting for listings. In this market and across the country, I've heard stats that there's more real estate agents than there are active listings for sale. And when you take into account the new construction, one realtor could have 15 to 20 new construction listings, which aren't probably ready to sell yet, but they're still listings, which means we have a very high number of agents with 0 listings. I typically carry 15 to 20 listings at a time. Right now, I have 2. One of them is foundation, and the other one is a spec home in framing. Those are my only 2 listings. All my residential resale listings, I have 2 coming on in the next week. They typically sell in a day, so I don't carry them for very long. I'm a competitive person, and I sit and look at my listing count. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no listings. That means I have nothing to market. What am I doing? I got to go find more listings. Well, the facts are I've had listings. They've just sold in a day or 2. And it's funny because in the years past, we'd say 30 days on the market. That's pretty average, Today, a client calls me and says, hey, this house has been on the market for 14 days. What's the problem with it? That's crazy. That's bonkers. What's the problem? At 14 days, that's not very long. But in this market, we know it is. So we as real estate agents are trying to manage all of that as well. We're trying to manage, okay, I don't have any listings. I need to go find listings. There's nothing on the market. I myself am selling homes before they list, typically. So when I say they don't last, sometimes they're not even available. I had one where I took a client, seller wanted to sell it. She really didn't want anybody coming through the house. I ended up with a buyer. I sold it just like that. Then we put it on the market as pending. I had a client call me, and she was mad because, I think this all comes full circle here. She was mad because she wanted to build a home. And between the time that they went through the plans meeting and the time they got the price increased by $30,000 based on the material costs. $30,000. So she was like, well, we're not doing that. And now we sold our house. We don't know what to do. In this house, it came up on the market, and you said it's already sold. It didn't even get listed. I had to call her. It was a Zillow call, which I love Zillow. I had to explain to her, look, sometimes these homes, we have to put them on the MLS. And they're already pending before we put them on the MLS. One staff will enter the listing, and then the next person will go through and mark it pending. That could be an hour difference in time. And sure enough, she called within that hour. It showed up on Zillow as active before our staff could mark it pending. And she was just, why are these houses selling? Well, do you have an agent? Well, kind of. Well, that doesn't work. Come find an agent. Trust that agent. Work with that agent. I'll help you, whatever. But they have the in on some of these houses. And sometimes you have to get in on one before they're actually listed, unless you want to compete against 10 other offers. And that's just a fact. So the absolute chaos that is ensuing inside real estate is absolutely bonkers. And new construction, I talked a little bit about that, but the time frame on new construction, being so long, it has got people just up in arms. And a lot of these builders are going to have a real difficult time in the next 6 months trying to forecast what they can build, forecast what's going to sell. There is dirt being turned, so new lots are coming on the market. I've got someone right now who wants to put a hold on a lot that isn't going to be done until September. Well, at the time September comes, our prices could be another 10 grand higher. Are you going to still want that same house that you saw, 3 months earlier for 20 grand less? We'll see about that. But everything that we're doing right now in real estate, as you can tell, I'm jumping all over the board because my mind is going nuts as well. I've seen different real estate agents across the country on social media platforms talking about the same stuff. The market is very difficult. The amount of money that homeowners have earned over the last year is astronomical. I heard one stat that said every person who owns a home in the last 6 months has earned $30,000 of equity on their home. That's a lot. That's average across the country. That's a lot of money. How much is that worth? I don't know. Is it worth a whole lot? Is inflation pushing that price up? Just like we've got everything else going up. We got gas, we got meat, we got lumber, we got all the materials to build a house. Everything is going up in price. So therefore, so is a house. So is that 30 grand worth as much as it was a year ago? I don't know. We'll let the economists figure that one out. But I'm telling you right now, real estate market's chaos. It will settle down a little bit, but it is super, super important to work with someone who understands what's going on and has knowledge, who has been through the ups and downs and knows how to get it done for you if you want to buy or sell a home. That's all I got for today. I got a busy day because guess what? It's chaos. We'll see you next time.